Welcome to New Thought Talk. I'm your host, the Reverend Steve Walling, and today's kind of an exciting day. It's our first live streaming on Facebook, and you can also, if you're local in the Fresno area, you can find us on the family channel, KSDI 33.2, I believe it is, and of course, if you're online, you can find us at Central Valley Talk also. So we've kind of expanded our audience base here, and that's a fun thing. We've been doing this show now for probably about 5 years, and it's amazed me what technology has provided for us. You might say that we've experienced a little prosperity in the process, and that's always a good thing. And that's something I want to talk about today as part of our conversation, and in a sense, that's what this is. It's a conversation, and we share ideas and thoughts that are based in New Thought, Science of Mind, based on a book written by Ernest Holmes called The Science of Mind. It's a philosophy that I've heard described in other areas as a 7-day-a-week personal philosophy for better living. And I really think that does describe how this spiritual practice that we can practice unfolds in our lives. The idea of living prosperously and living spiritually, for a lot of people, has not always been a good fit. People have come to the idea of prosperity with all sorts of bias and prejudice. And then over a period of time, there were people that began to present the idea that to live prosperously was actually, and in reality, the idea of living a very spiritual life. So how did that come about? Well, it came about because as people began to look at the teachings of Jesus, that radical rabbi that's brought to us in the New Testament, and what was it that he taught? He taught that for those people that were open to the idea, the concept, that God was ever present within them, that God, the kingdom of heaven, was to be found within, and that we weren't dealing with some kind of something outside of us, but in reality we're dealing with a spiritual being within ourselves. And this spiritual beingness within ourselves, being everywhere present and being the creator of all that is also the provider of all that is. And so we had direct access to it. We didn't have to go outside of ourselves. We didn't have to beg to experience a greater good. But there were things that we had to do, and we had to do them pretty much right down the line, as we'll see today as we talk about this stuff, that those that begin to do that, their lives unfolded in amazing ways. And your life can unfold in that kind of an amazing way too, if you choose to open yourself up to this. So I'm going to start in chapter 16 of The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, and it's called The Principles of Successful Living. And in the first paragraph, Ernest Holmes says, not something for nothing. He says, the lessons on prosperity and mental control of conditions are sometimes dangerous because of the misunderstanding of this subject. He says, Science of Mind is not a get-rich-quick scheme, neither does it promise something for nothing. It does, however, promise the one who will comply with its teachings that he or she shall be able to bring greater possibilities and happier conditions into his or her life experience. In other words, we have the capability within ourselves to bring greater experiences, happier experiences, more prosperous experiences into our life. That the control lies within us and not in circumstances or situations outside of ourselves. One of the things we need to understand right from the beginning, though, is that we hold a great deal of responsibility for how we interact with and how we experience life. You know, life happens, and I often say life happens at the speed of life. And the only thing faster than the speed of life is the love of God. So once we nestle ourselves in this concept of the love of God, as life happens at the speed of life, we have with us, around us, through us, and acting as us, the greatest power in the universe, the infiniteness, the divine presence. We call it God, we call it love, we call it many different things. But it exists, and it exists everywhere, and we cannot separate ourselves from it. We cannot be apart from it. But we can create conditions within ourselves that feels like we're apart from it. And that comes from how we hold our personal beliefs. You know, personal beliefs are very interesting. We think we know what we believe. Matter of fact, if we were to sit down and write out the things that we think we know that we believe, we could make a whole list. And if you were to do that, then I would challenge you to take a look around your life and see if your life is in alignment with the things that you say you believe. Oftentimes we find that the things that we say that we believe do not necessarily present themselves in our life experience. But you know, life's a very interesting thing because life mirrors back to us exactly what we do believe. So if we stand at in front of the mirror of life and we take a look, our life, we take a look out there, and it doesn't mirror back to us the things that we say we want to experience, the things we say we believe, then somewhere between what we're saying with our mouths and what we're believing with our mind, there's two different things, and we need to address those. And this is where having a spiritual philosophy that lays out a pathway to experiencing and expressing a greater life experience through a connection with our source, with the divine principle, becomes for me, a very exciting and self-empowering thing. The idea that you can create and I can create a reality for ourselves that is prosperous. And prosperity is it's one of those things we'll have to look at and we'll continue to look at over a period of time, but a very brief definition that I use oftentimes for prosperity is being able to do what we want when we want to do it. And you can include in that with who we want to for how long we want to. And the thing is, if we're not living life at that level, we're not living prosperous. Now, there's nothing in that says anything about having financial wealth, although having financial wealth can be a part of our prosperity. But for some people, other people, having a life of minimalism and living in a place that is in alignment with their inner beingness is extremely prosperous. For some people, having that kind of personal relationship with spirit, or that personal relationship with someone in their lives, may be the thing that defines prosperity for them. For some people, it may be having a financial life expression that allows them to live and do the things that they want to do when they want to do it. For each of us, it's different. And for each of us, because we are individual beings, we have to come to our own realization of what it is that we define as prosperity. And then once we define it, then we got to begin to see what it's going to take for us to experience it. First thing we got to understand is if we plan to experience prosperity in our lives, we need to believe that we can do that. And so that takes us back to our understanding of beliefs. If we're experiencing a life that is limited in any or many degrees, we don't believe that we can be prosperous. And that's just where we got to start. If we are the creation of a divine, loving being, and I believe that we are, a beingness, an infiniteness, a principle, that infiniteness has no limitation. That infiniteness not only creates us, but it creates everything that we need to sustain. And this is, you have to be very clear here. When I say creates everything that we need to sustain ourselves, that's not at a minimum level. That's to sustain ourselves at a level where we express life in the maximum way that we can express life. You know, if you look at life in general, life has an urge within it to express itself. If you look at life specifically with the human condition, those people that we see that express the greatest amount of life are those people that believe that they can. And the difference between those and someone that's not is that simple thing, belief. When we first approach this idea that we can change our conditions in our life by changing the way that we think, for some people that seems like it's almost a mysterious or mystical thing. In truth, it's just us making our connectedness with our source, with the spiritual beingness that created all that is. And it's there, and it awaits us, but it doesn't await us outside of ourselves. It awaits us within ourselves. So we first have to seek it out. We have to first make a decision to seek it out. And then as we do that, then we begin to move forward. As we begin to move forward, one of the first things that we realize is we've got beliefs that we got to work on. So let's take a look at how we work on beliefs. First thing I want to do is go back to what Dr. Holmes says in the book. He says, we do not teach that you can get what you want. If we could all get what we want, it might be disastrous. For it's certain that most of us would want things that would interfere with the well-being of someone else. And we have to understand that that's one of the first conditions on our pathway, that we can get what we want, but what we want has to be in alignment with divine principle. And what do I mean by that? Divine principle is harmony, it's peace, it's love, it's abundance, it's goodness, it's beauty. There's nothing in there about selfishness or anger or hatred or revenge or any of those things. As a matter of fact, we can go back to what Jesus taught about that particular thing. And if you happen to have the textbook, it's what we call the Science of Mind, you go to page 285. And Ernest Holmes says, faith in God is such a complete conviction that the Spirit will make the gift, that there is no longer any subjective contradiction. This faith can exist only in such a degree as the conviction is in line with reality. In other words, we have to align ourselves. We have to be in harmony with it, okay? He says we cannot believe that any law of the universe will ever change its own nature because we desire it to do so. As we come into the spiritual realm, and he says this in all caps, this is very important, as we come into the spiritual realm, as we're making our spiritual journey, okay, which is a perfectly natural and normal realm, we have to come into it in its own nature. And he didn't say in its own terms, he said in its own nature. You know, we can find wiggle room when we're talking about terms, but when we're talking about the nature of the divine principle of all that is, there's only one nature, and when we come to it in its nature. In other words, a like-mindedness within ourselves, a like consciousness within ourselves. He says, it is a unity. There must be nothing vicious in it. Remember what Jesus said, therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother has aught against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Why? Because we cannot enter into peace while we are in a state of confusion. It cannot be done. We cannot manifest love when we have a mental equivalent of hate in our hearts and minds. And you know, I picked this specifically for today in this time to talk about prosperity. We all want to be prosperous. I don't know of anybody that doesn't want to be. And truth be told, our desire, our urge to be prosperous is a divine urge within us to express ourselves maximally. But we get caught up in our day-to-day life because the material life, that which we've grown up with, that which we've been taught, has given us certain rules that we follow. And one of those rules is we have to seek justice in our life. If somebody does us wrong, we have to go out and avenge ourselves or revenge ourselves. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes along with that, including anger and hatred. Okay? And so as we begin to make this transition into a spiritual experience, we got to move into something that is foreign to some people, that some people have some idea of, and some people have been working hard with in their lives. And that something is called forgiveness. Because as we seek to express prosperity in our lives, we have to seek to align ourselves with the divine principle. To align ourselves with our divine principle, we have to seek forgiveness. So we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to start there. I'll see you then.
Cultural Brokers presents Sunset Melodies with saxophonist Jeanette Harris and MC comedian Feather DeWise. August 26, 2017, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Get your tickets and support Cultural Brokers Family Advocate Program, supporting and empowering families to strengthen communities. Call 486-1477 or visit culturalbrokerfa.com. Accepting donations year-round.
When you expect dedication and professionalism during your real estate transactions, call upon Portia Luttrell. You deserve a highly qualified realtor to guide you through this very involved process. Call Portia Luttrell at 559-909-3198 and visit PortiaSellsHomes.com. The Saga of Bridget and Amanda by Carol Love Forbes brings to life the struggles of historical women in early America. Find The Saga of Bridget and Amanda on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and order your copy today. Fresno Rescue Mission's Rescue the Children program is a protected, secure environment providing emergency and long-term services to women at risk, abused, homeless, previously incarcerated, and women with children. The community provides women and their children a place to get away from destructive lifestyles, offering a place to heal, learn, and grow. Give to the Fresno Rescue Mission today. Are you having financial troubles and are considering your options? Before filing for bankruptcy, call Katerina Benitez at Benitez Law Firm, PC, 559-472-7337.
Gained a lot, learned a lot, and got a lot of love. If it weren't for the knowledge that I had gained from the classes at PCC, I probably wouldn't be the mom I am today. See, there it goes.
I would love you to meet my son, Aaron. My situation was very difficult. I didn't know how my life was going to turn out.
We graduated in June 2010 and we got married in July. And through family, the Pregnancy Care Center changed our lives.
The Pregnancy Care Center was a huge, vital part in helping me walk through that pregnancy, in educating me and loving on me during that time.
Chuck Miller is the state broker for Connect Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, call Chuck Miller at 559-260-5668 or visit connectrealty.com/Chuck.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back to New Thought Talk. I am your host, the Reverend Steve Walling. I am the Senior Minister of the Spiritual Awareness Center located in beautiful Fresno, California. If you happen to be in the area and would like to join us on Sunday, we meet for our Sunday celebration at the Fresno Soap Company Theater, and that's located at 1470 North Van Ness. Love to see you there. Meditation at 10 and our services start at 10:30. If you can be around, come around. I'd like to have you. Anyway, before we went to the break, I was talking about on our journey to prosperity, we've met this issue called forgiveness. A lot of people have and do take issue with forgiveness because in their own thinking there is an understanding that when somebody has wronged them that somehow there's some debt that has to be paid. And when Jesus was talking about this concept of forgiveness, he said we forgive 70 times 70. In those days, that was almost like saying we forgive an infinite amount of time. And what was it that he meant by that? Well, if you look up forgiveness in the dictionary, and I'm not going to take the time to do that right now, but you'll find the definition comes out something like to give up anger, to release responsibility for some negative deed done to you on someone else. But in all the things that you read, one of the things that you don't read is there's an activity that the person that you're forgiving has to do, or some interaction that you have to have with that person. Because forgiveness is not about the other person. Forgiveness is not about what they've done. Forgiveness is about you and about your story. And when you reconcile within yourself and you get to a point to where you're willing to reach an understanding of forgiveness, you're also willing to reach a point in your spiritual journey where you can begin to let go of some of your story. And your story is what's held you back oftentimes to keep you from experiencing the prosperity that not only you want, but it's prosperity that you have a right to in your life, because you are a divine creation. You are a child of the infinite source of all the universe. And you are that child, and your Father, Mother, God, Goddess is infinitely giving, infinitely wealthy. All you have to do is align yourself with principle. In other words, make yourself live in like-mindedness. And this was the main message of what Jesus brought into the world when he said, love your neighbor as yourself and love God with all you are. And I'm paraphrasing that. But if you are God expressed as you, and you are, and your neighbor is God expressed as your neighbor, then truly there's just a one and a oneness. And so when you hold something within you, when you've kept some hurt buried in your heart, it becomes part of your story. And your story is your justification for being where you're at. And your justification for being where you're at is the anchor that keeps you exactly where you're at. You want to let go of that. You want to let go of your story. You want to let go of the bondage that has kept you, the chains that have kept you in bondage, and free yourself so that you can experience and express life in a wholly different, dynamic way. You are the divine light that has been created as you, and the express of the divine source of all that is lives within you. That fire burns there, and it awaits your seeking to recognize the truth of who you are. As we do, we have to go back to this thing called forgiveness, because we're going to let go of our story. So to forgive means to give up the anger that we have towards someone, the resentment we have towards someone or some condition or some organization, and let it go. Just let it go. Well, how can you let it go when it's been so terrible? Well, here's the thing. It may have been terrible back at the time it was. It may have been terrible when the deeds were done. But that's not now. That's not in your life at this moment. That's whenever it was in your past. Whenever it was in your past is not here now. And here now is the only time in your life where you have power to make change. So you can let go of those things here and now. And you don't have to keep the emotional chain attachment to the feelings that are attached to those things. It's not like forgive and forget, like we wipe something out of our memory. When we forgive, what we're doing is we're withdrawing any emotional attachment to an event that happened. We're moving beyond it. We're letting go of that because we've decided to rewrite our story into something that is much more loving, much more harmonious, much more peaceful, much more abundant, much more beautiful, and much more godlike or goodness. And that's what we do. And we do that through a process. You know, the process is not waking up one day and say, okay, I'm free of all this. The process is a journey that we begin. It begins with a choice. We make the choice to seek something better in our life and to see something better. We make a choice to change the old limiting beliefs that have held us back, the beliefs that we were wronged and therefore we are less than in the world. You can never be less than what you hold yourself to be. When you free yourself from the idea that you are less than and you open yourself up to the idea that you are the divine expressed as you, that you can change from seeing life from a consciousness of limitation to seeing life from a panorama of abundance, of good, things change. You know, what we think about, I've heard say, comes about. Or another way of putting it is, we are the thinker that thinks the thought that makes the thing. Well, how can we be the thinker that thinks the thought that makes the thing and have that thing expressed in our life? The reason why this works is because we are that divine principle expressed as us. And as we speak our word, whether it be in thought and mind or our word in our voice, there is a spiritual law that responds. The law of cause and effect, the law of good, the law of God, whatever you want to call it, the law of attraction, doesn't make any difference. When we speak our word, when we hold our thought in consciousness, when we have that trend of thinking, there is something that responds, and that something is a creative force in the universe, and it's available to us. As a matter of fact, we are constantly working with it, whether we're conscious of that or not. You know, the life that you're experiencing right now is the life that you have created for yourself. If you look around, if you look like I was talking about in that mirror of life and you don't like what you see, it's not somebody else's fault. It's not circumstances that brought you to this point. It's your understanding of your life expression, your belief of where you fit in life, and how you've allowed your thoughts, your trend of thinking, to carry you to this point. You can break free from that. You have not only the power and the ability, but you've got an infinite source in this divine principle behind you, wanting to move forward through you, expressing through you, so that when you came into this world, whether you realize it or not, you came into this world with talents that were waiting to be developed. You know, a musician didn't just decide to be a musician. The ability to take and utilize all the things that it takes to be a musician were already there in seed form in that individual before they ever picked up or looked at or heard music from their first instrument. That person that is a dance person or an artist or a writer or, you know, another kind of creator or a successful business person or an athlete, the seeds of all of that lie within each and every one of us. And for some of us, we have seeds that move us towards maybe a life expression as a musician, but it could be something else. It's there, and it's waiting and awaiting us to find it. We have to find it. And how do we find it? We find it by beginning to look at our life. What is it that we're doing in life? Where do we find our attractions? Okay? And then we can move forward. We move forward by moving forward in thought, in consciousness. We begin to create in our mind, in our imagination, if you will, the ideal and idea of what it is that we want to do. But we have to follow that with action. You know, I think it's in the book of James in the Bible where we're told that faith without action is dead. Faith without deeds are dead. And that's a very powerful statement. If you have faith in yourself, as Jesus said, the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. But you have to follow that faith with action. So sitting around thinking about what you want, not necessarily going to move you down the line. But once you make that choice, you decide, this is what I want, then we got to change our story. We got to wipe the slate clean, and we start with forgiveness. I want to read you something here. It says, this is Ernest Holmes talking about Jesus. He says that we should forgive until 70 times 7. This is but another way of saying that forgiveness is eternal and ever available. What a load is dropped from the shoulders of personal responsibility when we realize that the eternal mind holds not against anyone, but to those who feel that this is unfair. It would be a hard saying. What says one? Are not my virtues to be rewarded above those who have none? O foolish one and blind, what do you know about virtue? Has your life always been beyond reproach? Know this, virtue does not know that it is virtuous. Forgiveness is not something that comes from the outside. It comes from within us, and it frees our heart, it frees our mind, and it frees our consciousness. God does not keep a log of our so-called sins, but our heart does. And the sins that are the most egregious are the sins of hate and anger that we hold within ourselves. In today's world, you know, there's so much going on, and you know, I see people that profess to believe that they really want peace in the world, but they make that profession with so much hatred and anger. You know, I think it was Martin Luther King that said he had seen hate and he preferred love. And that's what he brought into the world. And although he didn't live to see the success that he brought in the movement of civil rights, by bringing that kind of consciousness, he brought a great deal of success. We can bring success in our world, in our personal world, success of love, success of prosperity, success of goodness. But we do it within ourselves. And we're going to pick this up when we come back after this break, and I'll see you then.
Camille Sanders of Chic Romance Travel is your certified destination wedding and romance travel specialist. With Chic Romance Travel, you'll save time, be less stressed, and have a unique, unforgettable travel experience. You deserve this. Call Chic Romance Travel at 1-800-432-1752 or visit chicromancetravel.com. Bring the gym to your home at Athlete Fitness Equipment, located in the Villaggio Shopping Center across from River Park. 0% financing available with approved credit. Visit athletefe.com and call 369-2800.
You can't be fresh if your cut isn't. So support your local barber and come down to JDB Cuts Barbershop at 1855 East Dakota, just east of Blackstone behind the Shell Station. JDB Cuts is open Monday through Thursday from 10 to 6:30 and Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Shula Davis is your farmer's insurance agent, and she'll help you find the insurance plan that's right for you. Call 559-900-2744 or email sdavis5@farmersagent.com.
Visit Princess and the Pauper, where you'll find everything from new and consigned furniture, lighting and art, a line of candles, French soaps, and mineral paint. Whether your style is old world, modern, or a little bit of everything, you'll find it at Princess and the Pauper, located at the southeast corner of Bullard and West. And now you can visit Princess and the Pauper's online store at princessandthepauper.net.
At Miracle Realty, we've been providing premier professional residential sales and property management in residential and commercial property for years. We manage single-family homes, condominiums, apartment buildings, commercial buildings, office space, and much more. No matter what experience level you have in property management, Miracle Realty strives to make your experience as stress-free as possible. Serving Madera and the surrounding areas, we use the latest technology and provide top-notch service. We're a trusted and reliable name in residential sales and property management with the experience to answer any questions or complications that might come up. Give us a call today or visit us online for more information.
Need a new phone? Have a cracked screen? Cell Pros can set you up with an iPhone for as little as $120. Cell Pros Fresno can meet your cell phone needs. Cracked screen? Cell Pros can have it fixed the same day. Visit us at one of our 4 convenient Fresno locations. Call Cell Pros at 559-961-7767, 961-7767, or visit cellprosfresno.com. CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, welcome back, New Thought Talk. I am your host, Reverend Steve Walling, the Senior Minister of the Spiritual Awareness Center located in beautiful Fresno, California. We meet Sunday at 10 o'clock for meditation, 10:30 for service. You can find us at the Fresno Soap Company Theater at 1470 North Van Ness. And having said that, I want to move on to what we've been talking about. And I've kind of been a little bit all over the map, but I'm talking about this idea of living a prosperous life, which is really living a spiritually empowered life. Because when we're spiritually empowered, it's like the doors of heaven open up for us. Things happen, doors open, goodness comes at us. But we also experience the things that happen that maybe aren't necessarily the most wonderful of things from a different bent, a different angle. And we create within ourselves an inner peace, an inner feeling of, I guess the best way to describe it would be God consciousness, spiritual consciousness. And that when we experience that feeling, we express that in our lives. It's a very interesting thing as you go through the day, just realizing that you are an expression of the divine, looking at things around you, realizing that everything that you're looking at some time was an idea in somebody's mind before it became a reality in your experience, and that behind that there's a spiritual source, a spiritual foundation for all of existence, and we're connected to it. We're connected to it not as just as individuals, but we're connected to it as a unity, as a oneness. And therefore, as I seek to improve my lot in life, if I'm in alignment with divine principle, I'm also raising other people up with me. I'm bringing greater good into the world, and as I bring greater good into the world, I help to create a greater world. Talking about prosperity, and Ernest Holmes talks about the idea of a successful life. He says the idea of a successful life as our individual ideas will create success. This idea will find objective form in the outer world of the one who holds it in with conviction. It must first become established in the conscious mind, and then it will transmit itself into the subjective embodiment, and when this happens, success will become habitual. And what he's talking about here is when we decide that we want to take this journey, we want to become prosperous in our lives. We're ready to give up living the life of limitation, struggling, and we're going to not only accept the fact that we can live prosperously, but we're going to declare the fact that we are living prosperously. And that's the beginning point. And as we clear out the decks, we've talked about letting go through forgiveness things, and there's other things that we'll be talking about over a period of time that we need to let go. It's kind of like spring cleaning. We got to clear out our consciousness closet so that we can make room for the good that we're going to move in there. And as we do this, things begin to change. It was, I believe it was Thoreau that said, when you make a decision to do something, the universe moves in all sorts of ways to make it happen. And I'm paraphrasing. But these thoughts, these ideas, these spiritual concepts, if you will, they're not new. Although we call this new thought, they're ancient, very, very old spiritual teachings that have been handed down sometimes through mainstream and sometimes through substream, but they've made it to this day and time, and people have taken these principles and put them into practice in their life. And those people that have done so, we have seen incredible things happen, from healings to creating financial prosperity to creating all sorts of things. What do you want in your life? Think about it. What do you want in your life? If you want what you think you want and you can believe that you can have it, then there is a way between where you're at right now and the havingness of it. That way lies within the divine principle itself. Now, if you're my age and you say, well, I want to be an astronaut, the question becomes, do you really believe that you can be an astronaut? And no, I don't think so, given the time and the wear and tear on my body. But John Glenn was able to go back into space at about my age because he knew and he believed that he could. People that are much older than I am have started new businesses and become very successful because they believe they could. People much older than I am have started new romantic relationships that have been very fulfilling and taken them on into the later years of their life. It begins with belief. We started the show talking about belief. As you believe it's done unto you, we were taught. When you pray, pray believing, and you will receive, we are taught. Why did Jesus teach these things? Why do other ancient spiritual teachers teach these things? Because there's a truth behind them. There's a truth that says when you begin to live your life in alignment with divine principle, there is a power and a presence for good in the universe that is available to you. But it's available to you at the level that you avail yourself to it. It was Reverend Ike that used to say, and he was a great prosperity teacher, but he used to say, you know, if you go to the ocean with a thimble, you can fill your thimble. If you go to the ocean with a bucket, you can fill your bucket. If you go with a barrel, you can fill your barrel. If you go with a pipeline, the ocean will fill your pipeline. And divine principle is pretty much the same thing. The only thing is most of us take our thimbles and don't even expect that they're going to be filled at all. And so we get what we expect. Isn't it time that we change and trade in our thimbles? You know, if you can't grasp the concept of trading a thimble for a pipeline, how about trading your thimble in for a glass and see if you can do it, and see if that demonstrates in your life, and see if you start spiritual practices such as daily meditation and what we call affirmative prayer treatment, if you start learning about the truth of who you are and applying that truth through embodying it. You know, Ernest Holmes used to say that where we're at, we can know what is true if we've demonstrated it. But that which we haven't demonstrated may or may not be true. Isn't it time to demonstrate more good in your life so that you can know a greater good is there and available to you? Why accept something less? Why not, if you will, go for it? What do you got to lose? Disappointment? If you make the decision and you start on the journey, you will reap the rewards of the path that you follow. So why not begin now? Begin today. Take some time. If you're not a meditator, a lot of us weren't, a lot of us aren't, but if you're not a meditator, you don't have to be some great spiritual being to begin to learn to meditate. What's important is that you take time. You take time each and every day, and you make that time important time. By making it important, what I mean is you set a time where you clear out your space. There's no interruptions. You can sit quietly. You can close your eyes. And you can just breathe, and breathe through your nose. And as you breathe through your nose, all you want to do is just focus on your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And do it for about 5 minutes. And during that time, you'll probably find that your mind will wander all over the place. And that's kind of a so what. What you want to do is when you catch your mind wandering all over the place, is bring it back. Focus it on your breathing. And it's really no more complicated than that. As you move along, you'll find that you'll get better at it and you can extend the time. At some point, when you find that you've become somewhat of an adept at beginning meditation, you can begin to take a spiritual concept, a reading, a prayer, an affirmation. And instead of focusing on your breath, focus on that affirmation. I am the child of a loving Father. Today, in every way, I'm better and better. God is my good. God exists within me, as me, expresses through me. These are just some of the affirmations that you can use. And you begin to focus on them. Make them a part of your meditation. Not all of them at once, just take one and work on it. When you awaken in the morning, take that, there's that time in the morning when you're just beginning to wake up. Take that time, and as your mind is becoming conscious, invite yourself into the day. Literally, invite yourself into the day and make a declaration that today is a great day. That God has provided this gift for me to experience at the highest level that I am here to experience, and accept nothing less. And regardless of what happens during the day, if you've made that declaration at the beginning, you'd be surprised that no matter what comes at you, what the speed of life brings, the love of God is already there, waiting you, surrounding you, providing for you. And you have the ability to do it. And this is the most amazing thing. You have the ability to do it. God has given you that ability. God has given you everything you need. All you have to do is wake up to it. And in reality, that's what we're doing. We're waking up. We're remembering the truth of who we are. You see, an infinite God is everywhere present. There's no place that God is not. There can't be some place where there's not a God if God is infinite. And if God is infinite and God is good, there cannot be an opposition to God. So that goodness, that godness is available not only around you, through you, as you. It's available in everything, every time, every place that you experience your day-to-day life. But you got to know it and you got to claim it. And you can do that. Now we're going to take our last break, and we'll see you when we come back.
Attend the International Holiday Fest, November 4th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Bring the family, enjoy great food, great music, and shop from around the world. Purchase tickets at the convention box office or at eventconsultantsfresno.com. Hardworking, experienced, and capable. With a record of success over more than 2 decades, the law office of Kevin G. Little is one of the preeminent small firms in Fresno. We represent our clients in a variety of matters, including civil rights, employment, personal injury, general civil litigation, family law, bankruptcy, and criminal cases. Our firm also offers excellent mediation services in civil and family law matters. We approach each case with dedication, aiming to protect you and exceed your expectations. Contact us today at 559-342-5800 and visit kevinglittle.com. John C. Brown of JCB Bookkeeping Services has over 15 years' experience in bookkeeping and accounting. JCB Bookkeeping is dedicated to helping small to medium-sized businesses with bookkeeping, accounting, payroll services, tax preparation, and more, so you can focus your energy on your business and forge ahead in the marketplace. Call now for a free consultation, 559-658-2625, or visit jcbbookkeeping.com. Contact the Realtor of the 21st Century, Rick Munoz, at rickmunoz.realtor. Call Rick at area code 559-827-0888 or 326-5141, or email rickmunoz at realtor.com. Connect with Dr. Alan Hedberg. Watch Doctor Teach Me to Parent on CentralValleyTalk.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Listen to The Psychology Report anytime at thepsychologyreport.buzzsprout.com. Visit booksbyhedberg.com and order a book for your personal growth. And join the conversation on twitter.com/AlanGHedberg. The Stacking Shed is dedicated to stacking your sandwiches and also serves up much more. Located at 2119 Merced Street in downtown Fresno, the Stacking Shed is open Monday through Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call them at 559-492-1102. Get your dog the proper training for the next hunting season with Reliable Retrievers. With positive dog-friendly methods, your hunting companion will be eager, enthusiastic, and ready to go. Call Reliable Retrievers at 559-287-3375 and visit us on the web at www.reliableretrievers.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back to New Thought Talk. I'm your host, the Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center located in beautiful Fresno, California. And again, if you happen to be in Fresno, we invite you to join us on Sunday. We meet at the Fresno Soul Company Theater at 1470 North Van Ness, and our meditation time is at 10, and our service time is at 10:30. This is our last segment. You know, it's been a different show for me today. I don't know what it is. It's the idea of being out on Facebook all over the internet versus being on the internet, just on the internet. I don't know. But anyway, it's been fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you picked up some things that you can use. Maybe even, it sparked more questions within you. There are centers located wherever you're at that you can find. There is a web page. It's called findacenter.com, I believe. If you go there, and you can, depending on what state or locality, what city you're in, you can look up centers, and the centers you're looking for are centers for spiritual living, religious science centers, probably Unity, Universal Foundation for Better Living, various other divine science. Any of those are New Thought spiritual centers or churches that share and teach the basic concepts of New Thought. I try to cover a lot today and only touched on a lot of things. It's a journey. It's not a destination. You're not going to come here and stop. We weren't created to stop. We were created to express ourselves. That's the urge of life. That's the urge of God within us, to express ourselves. And the more you express, the more you find that you enjoy the expression, and the more you'll have to express. Remember the parable of the talents, where the master went off and he left one servant with 5 and one servant with 2 and one servant with 1, and when he came back, he brought his servants in, and the first servant told him, he said, well, yeah, I doubled your income because I invested it. And he praised his servant for doing that. And the second servant came in and he said, yes, master, I doubled your income, I invested it. And he praised his servant for that. And the third servant came in and he said, I know that you are a terrible, harsh master, and basically I was afraid of losing, so I buried it in the ground, and I can return your 1 talent to you. And the master got very upset with him and called him wicked and other names, and took all that he had and gave it to the servants that had invested. The idea behind that is that as we bring more to life, as we give more, as we don't live in fear, as we move forward in confident consciousness, life gives back to us. To those that have, more will be given. To those that don't have, even what they have will be taken. And the understanding there is, if we live a life of limitation, lack in our consciousness, a life of nothingness, life takes from us, and it can be very severe in the taking. But if we choose to live a life of abundance, a life of prosperity, and it starts with a choice. It starts with realizing that maybe I grew up with beliefs that have kept me back. Maybe I have beliefs that have limited me. And there's things that I can do to make changes. I can change my beliefs. I can change my way of thinking. And when I do so, I can change the life experience and expression that I have. And it can't get any better than that when we make that point, when we come to that realization that the divine presence is waiting for us. It's waiting for us to reach out, kind of like the story of the prodigal son. When he returned home, his father, opened his arms. Our Father, Mother, God, Goddess, however you want to relate to the divine principle, is waiting for us to turn and come to it, and it comes to us with open arms. We have to open our arms up. And we do that within our minds and our hearts. Can't be done any other way. I want to read a little bit more before we close out from the Science of Mind. Ernest Holmes says we must consciously know that we can use this creative power. The more complete such acceptance on our part, the more completely we shall be able to use this power for definite purposes. We can use this power. You can use this power. We should develop a conscious conviction of our ability to know and to understand the way that the mind works. We shall not be able to do this while we listen to those who deny us or themselves the privileges we wish to enjoy. No one ever yet found a living soul in a dead body, or learned that affirmations of life and health, will become beneficial by denying any power to them. We're going to meet naysayers. You're going to meet people that tell you that you can't do this, you shouldn't do this. There's an urge within you to know the truth. That urge is within every living being that has a level of consciousness. Take time. Listen to it. Develop it. Discover it. Interact with it within yourself. Take that time to meditate. If you're not sure where you're going, find the quiet time. Find the peace. Work on a little meditation. You can check in with your local spiritual center that's near you. If you're in Fresno, check in with us. If you're in the local area, but maybe where I'm at the Spiritual Awareness Center is a little far from you, check in with me. I'll let you know where you can go. Or like I say, you can go online. There is a place where you can go. There are things that you can do. There are people that will be happy to share with you some of the tools that you can use to create a better life for yourself. And that's what it's all about. When you create a better life for yourself, and I'm not talking about a more successful life. I'm talking about a more prosperous life. Anybody can be successful in any given thing, but to be prosperous, we have to be balanced in all aspects of our life. To be prosperous, we have to have the love in our life. We have to have the goodness in our life. We have to have the peace in our life. We have to have the harmony in our life. To be prosperous, we have to be in alignment with divine principle, with God. There's no other way. Yet God is there for us when we turn to it. It's there, it awaits us, and then it says, everything I have is yours, and you've got the tools. And the thing is, when we come to this realization, we realize that the world is a world of abundance, not of limitation, not of lack, not of poverty, not of disease. It's a world of peace and harmony and goodness. You look at the history of humanity and you see that there's been a continuous upward spiral of consciousness as human consciousness has grown. We've got a long way to go, but it's from people that have seen a greater truth, that have imagined a greater future, that have chosen to live a greater reality in each and every one of their daily life experiences, that have created the reality that we live today. And it's the people today that have those same concepts, those same ideas, that will create a better world for the tomorrows that come. And you can be that person. You can be part of it. If you find that you're experiencing limitation, discord, unhappiness in your life, the solution is not somebody else. The solution is within you. For therein rests the spiritual reality of who and what you are and the gift of all that you can be. You can go there and you can find it. And that is the message of New Thought, Religious Science, Science of Mind. And I hope you enjoyed today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. This is exciting. We've got a whole new venue, and how we're going to go from here, I don't know exactly, but it's going to be good. So stick around. We'll see you then. Thank you so much. As you go through the week, know that the light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you, and the power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Because truly, no matter where you are, God is there, and all is well. Have a great week, my friends. I'll see you then. Bye.
This segment is brought to you by Mike Briggs Properties. The recession's over. It's now safe to sell your home. Call Mike Briggs Properties.
Visit Princess and the Pauper, where you'll find everything from new and consigned furniture, lighting and art, a line of candles, French soaps, and mineral paint. Whether your style is old world, modern, or a little bit of everything, you'll find it at Princess and the Pauper, located at the southeast corner of Bullard and West. And now you can visit Princess and the Pauper's online store at princessandthepauper.net. Need a new phone? Have a cracked screen? Cell Pros can set you up with an iPhone for as little as $120. Cell Pros Fresno can meet your cell phone needs. Cracked screen? Cell Pros can have it fixed the same day. Visit us at one of our 4 convenient Fresno locations. Call Cell Pros at 559-961-7767, 961-7767, or visit cellprosfresno.com.
If you're getting married soon, contact Raquel Torrado with a Beautiful Day Wedding Ministry at 559-803-1298. Join the Paycation lifestyle for the ultimate experience in travel training. Contact Amanda Howard, a certified travel agent, at 559-708-3991 or visit monarchtravel.paycation.com.
Here at Central Valley Talk, we've chosen Select Business Systems to provide for our copy, print, and scanning needs. We used to think it was cheaper to purchase our own toner and maintain our own office equipment. But now, with the expertise and experience of Select Business Systems, our office workflow is running at peak performance, saving our company time and money. They've truly set us up with our new Sharp multifunction copier, streamlining our office with the press of a button. To find out how you can improve your office technology, call Select Business Systems at 446-0123 or visit their website at selectsharp.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com